Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and this will be a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So obviously it is general and for a large collective, so it may not resonate with everyone, and that's okay. Just discard the reading if it isn't for you. Also, because it's general and public, gender doesn't matter. So if I pull a king, a queen, a princess, a prince, an emperor, an empress, the sex or gender just really doesn't matter. It's all about the personality, which I'll describe. So I'm just gonna shuffle up the cards here and let them tell me a story. I'll try to interpret it the best I can for you, and then we'll grab some advice. Okay, so the overall energy is the Tower. We have the Nine of Wands. The Wheel of Fortune. The Ten of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, in the challenge position, we have the Two of Wands. So this is kind of a cool energy because I think this Tower is not something that's occurring in your life. I think it's something that you're looking at. Right? And I don't think it's with you. I think this is like in general. You know, you're looking at the chaos in people's lives, the things that they go through. Now, I feel like you yourself, you've been through a lot. The Nine of Wands, this is cruelty here, but generally the Nine of Wands is a card, you know, of the wounded warrior, the person who's been through it all and made it out alive. And I feel like here, though, there's almost like this I want to say apathy. And I know some people are going to look at that and be like, oh my gosh, no, apathy is terrible. But sometimes it's not, because it takes a certain amount of apathy to be what I would consider like indifferent, you know? And here's the thing is that people also kind of coin the term indifference as bad as well, but it's, I mean, is it? Because here kind of the situation is like, okay, so say that I meet people and they're still in this victim mentality, right? The Nine of Wands. Oh, I've been through so much. So many things have happened to me. The reason for their chaos is external, right? And these people seem to just be in cycles of pain. You know, it's like they're just constantly going through something. They're constantly in chaos, you know, and it's like they choose to like seethe in that energy. And I think that's what it all comes down here to, because the Two of Wands is in the challenge position. You know, twos are choices, and this is dominion. You know, really having free will, understanding that your choices have consequences. You know? And I feel like you may question if you're becoming apathetic, because it's almost like when people approach you with a victim mentality, you don't really fall into it. I feel like you have the ability here with this like kind of indifferent energy to see the pain, recognize that, but also be able to see where people keep doing this to themselves, not falling into their victim mindset with them, because that actually won't help anything, right? This is sort of like not enabling people's self pity. You know, self pity feels really good for a small period of time, and it's a natural part of the human psyche to, survive in certain situations. It does feel good sometimes, but over an extensive period of time, it just doesn't do anything for a person, except maybe suck them into a deep depression. But here it's sort of like, I think that you've been dealing with this type of energy for a long time, you may just have these natural qualities where when people are going through something, they come to you because you have good advice. But they don't even take the fucking advice. And you know why? Because they have free will. And this is, I think, really what you're paying attention to. There's something in you that says, hey, listen, if people want to live a fucked up life, they are welcome to do that. It just doesn't affect me. I'm not going to consistently baby someone or chase them around and tell them how to live. I give you the advice, you don't take it, okay. Instead of, I think that you've been too nurturing, maybe not even having boundaries with people. They just constantly come to you with their problems, and the reality of their problems, they keep creating them. So essentially this is, I think, something where you've wasted a lot of time and energy in the past, is like kind of giving into other people's problems. And actually feeling that they are a victim in it, which is extra draining because you really want to help, you really want to show up. But, these people just turn around and do the same shit all over again. So it's like, what is the energy actually helping? Are you just emotionally regulating someone in a moment of chaos? Or are, do you, what are you benefiting out of that? So I think that you're not really becoming super apathetic. I want to say indifferent is more the term, where people matter, but I think that there's a specific limit on how much victimhood you'll kind of allow a person to deal with here in the situation. I just think that where some people might even think this is kind of dickish, they don't understand that you have been through it. So you're aware that none of that did anything for you. The self-pity, the long-term depression, the friends that would, sit down for hours and talk crap about somebody with you, but never really advise you on how to move on from something, just really kind of energy sucking, time wasting. So here it's kind of pulling back and saying, I'll listen to your story, or I'll kind of, it's I don't feel like you're hard, but I feel like you're unbiased here. It's when somebody's telling you something that's going on, you're also in your mind thinking for yourself and saying, what role is this person playing in this? And a lot of times it's just people who really act like they're powerless in life. Everything that happens to them is happening because of some, like I said, circumstance that's outside of them. And the truth is, I've been doing this a long time. You're not getting anywhere with those people. They have to come to that on their own, and maybe that's just what you're realizing here. You could waste all of your nurturing energy for people who actually don't want to make any change. They just in the moment need the attention or just need the validation, but they're not actually looking to be advised or to make any kind of changes. And I think maybe in the past you would even have been affected by this, where you felt like people were actually betraying you with this. I wasted all this time, trying to make you understand something. And, sometimes too, say this is friends, they could come to you with their relationship problems, and you advise them to leave someone. And they don't. They just get back into the relationship. But in order to do that, now they kind of have to leave you alone because, it's awkward now, right? They look a little silly because they just talk to you about how abusive this person was, and now they're over here just in bed with them again. So I think that it's a lot of you more realizing that you cannot just waste your precious energy on everyone who has some type of chaotic circumstance, and to be very choosy about, what you're giving your attention and time to. Because I feel like there are other people out there that you could advise that would take the advice and not waste your damn time. Okay, so in the advice we have the Magus, or the Magician, and the Ace of Swords. I think here it's saying that this is sort of like this is the gift. You know, people talk about having a gift, but sometimes this is the true gift. It's not apathy, it's the unbiased approach, you know, looking at things like, you know, there are two halves to a whole truth. You know, so not just looking at one side, and I feel like you pull together all of the elements of someone's story or situation, and you see the truth through it all here. So it's kind of, you know, I think some of you are afraid that you're too blunt, or that you've started to not care, or that you're becoming apathetic. Like, there's a fear with this because that's not natural for who you are. But actually, this is a power that you're gaining here. You're consciously aware that you cannot allow everyone to waste your time and energy, and that doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you a person with boundaries. I think that these people coming to you, though, is sort of like evidence that, you know, you do already have, like, this natural, like, gift of, you know, giving advice. You know, solid advice, too. You know, this is advice you would want yourself, you know, not necessarily what everybody wants to hear. But I feel like some of you are seeing this as, like, a weakness right now, or you're feeling like there's something weird going on with that, but it's not. I think that this actually has to be a part of this whole thing, where you sort of dissect basically people's stories, the holes in it, and decide who deserves your time and energy with whatever this is. So, and for a lot of you, it literally is just that, your time and energy. That's a huge exchange. Not everybody should have it. So definitely just understand that this apathetic or indifferent feeling that you have is actually just this objective point of view that you need. So I would go with that. Like, it's I think that you already kind of, you know, you are an intuitive person. You kind of, like, when you get this kind of nudge, you go with it. So I think that this will be more helpful to people, because this is the type of energy where it's like, you know, somebody comes to you with a problem and you give them a solution. And either they solve that problem themselves or they don't. And that lets you know who they are and whether you should waste any more time or energy on them or not, you know? Again, this Ace of Swords, though, having those clear boundaries, you know, it's, you don't have the energy to waste on people's problems if they don't actually want to solve them, you know, and I'd hate to break this to you, but a lot of people, they really don't even want to be advised, you know. A lot of people will vent and they don't really even want advice. They're just venting, you know, and that's great. But most people pay for those sessions, you know. It's not, there's no reason to have your friend on the phone 5 hours a night crying about somebody that you're just going to get back with next week. You know, it's just, you're like just wasting that person's time. But if you allow it and you don't have boundaries, oh, will people waste your time, baby? Okay, bye.